Oh no. Hello, WordNerds! Happy Sunday and welcome back to our live chat. Megan is in the middle of an existential crisis, but otherwise everything is going pretty fantastic and we are so excited to be back. Yeah, really nothing new here. Tonight's chat is really just going to be a little bit of everything. Feel free to throw any and all questions at us in the comments and we will answer those. Anything writing related, I'm sure will keep us busy for a good long while. And, I don't know, we'll throw some announcements at you as we go and all of that fun stuff. So, to kick things off, we are going to talk a little bit about books. So, the first question of the day is, what have you been reading? What have you finished recently? What are you reading? However you want to answer the question. If you guys want to let us know in the comments what you're reading, that would be awesome. And, Desiree, you are up first.
Cool. I am currently reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm, about halfway done. It's really good. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses in, 12 hours, so now I'm on the sequel, and I like it a lot.
And if anyone is curious, Sarah J. Maas actually caused Megan's existential crisis, so
yeah.
There we go.
Because you're Sarah J. Maas!
Erin, what are you reading?
Currently I am reading, I'm prepping to start revisions for my sci-fi, so I'm reading a bunch of sci-fi. I'm reading Robert J. Sawyer's Red Planet Blues, which is a hard-boiled detective novel. I'm finding it super sexist, which is making it really hard to get through. The main character is a super big fat jerk face, which is a part of the hard-boiled detective type of genre. So I guess it's a style, but it's still making it hard to get through. Yes, I don't recommend it.
Wonderful. Rachel, what are you reading? Yeah.
I'm in the middle of Levi Grossman's The Magicians. I have mixed feelings on it because I knew that it was a TV show, so I was like, you know what, let's read the book because the TV show looks like it's going to be really good. And I'm about halfway through, and I don't know if I'm going to continue on it. I like it because it's everyone says that it's Harry Potter if he went to college instead, and I do agree with that. It's a little bit darker than that, and I like it, but so far half the book's gone by, and all we've done is just follow this one character's adventures through the school, and there hasn't really been a lot of plot other than, this year, I have to master this spell, and, oh, surprise, I have. Now it's the summer, and I'm not going home, but oh, I hung out with friends for 3 months. Now it's 4th year, and I'm like, okay, so nothing's really happening. So I'm debating if I'm going to finish it or not.
Just jump into the TV show. I did not like the book at all. The TV show was solid.
Oh, all right. Will do.
What book is this? It sounds interesting.
The Magicians by Levi Grossman.
Cool, I'm going to write it on my hand.
Okay.
Megan?
I really liked the book I read most recently. It was The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. And it's a contemporary, and it's very long, and it was the perfect summer read. And the love interest is a fantasy writer, so it was everything. And there's dogs on the cover, guys. Dogs. There's a
I've heard good reviews about that one.
Hug on the back. That's my favorite.
Megan was talking about it in writing group this week, I think, and now it's my new life mission to get it in my hands before I go to the cottage, because it sounds like perfect cottage reading.
Yeah, I loved it. Emma loved it. So if you don't love it, I just don't know if we're going to get past this. Just kidding.
Mostly kidding.
Mostly.
I'm frantically trying to find the author of the book I just finished. Over the course of, I think I started it yesterday at 4, and I finished it this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. I read The Leaving by Tara L.T. Brando. It is a contemporary kind of thriller mystery where 11 years ago, 6 kids went missing, and then 5 of them come back. And it was a really interesting mystery. It was a 4-star read for me. There were things that I wish had been covered a little more in depth, but it was a really cool story, unlike stuff I've been reading recently, so it was a nice change of pace and kind of creepy. So there is that.
Yay! Creepy.
Yay, books.
Creepy. My favorite kind of books.
Mm-hmm.
We know.
Anyone writing at all this summer?
So much.
All the words.
Trying.
I'm actually, like, almost done with my first draft. Like, give me, like, 2 weeks, and I'll be probably done with my first draft, which is good, so I can finally read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Mm-hmm.
I have it,
Mm.
but I can't read it.
That must be difficult.
It's a struggle.
The not knowing.
Has everyone else read it?
I don't need it.
Yes.
I don't need to see it.
Be jealous. Well, that was like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was my life for about a month over July because I was part of the event crew at my bookstore. So it was like crafts and having to make decorations and having to plan, and then I worked the midnight event, which was super fun and crazy. But it was like all I was thinking and living and breathing for a good like 24 hours at one point.
Is it good? Is the book good?
I
That's all I
haven't
need to
read
know.
it yet.
You haven't read it?
Apparently you haven't read it yet.
I know, but I have had multiple people come to me and be like, yo, it's really good, you need to read it. But then other people, like literary people that I've talked to are like, it was okay. So
It has mixed reviews. I mean, it's a script, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
To
I like
me-
reading scripts.
There were a lot of parts that felt very fan fiction-y, but if you
Mhm.
embrace that, it's just total wish fulfillment. Like, this
Yeah.
is great. It's fan fiction. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I read this fan fiction before.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I suspect we'll end up talking about that more in depth once everyone's read it.
No
Oh, yeah.
spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Not today, some other time.
Then we will spoil all of it.
Everything.
All of the spoilers.
I'm also reading my way through a series right now, and I'm on the 4th book out of 5, so a lot of my coworkers have finished the series, so they're trying to talk code around me about what happens. So after every book I finish, they're like, did you finish the book yet? I'm like, yeah, I finished this. I'm like, okay, we need to talk about it. And then sometimes they're like, oh, that doesn't happen to book 5. I can't tell you anything. So it's like, I bet this person dies. They're like, oh, I can't tell you. I'm like, why not?
That actually ties in kind of well to a question we have.
Oh, really?
Jody asked, a novel's coming out tomorrow called Beautiful Funeral, and I am so afraid that this author pulled a Allegiant. Should I read this novel or wait for spoilers?
Well, if they didn't pull a specific Allegiant move, then you probably won't, like, no one will be like, by the way, the main character doesn't die. Like, no one usually spoils that.
Yeah, I would just read it. If it's one you're looking
Yeah.
forward to,
Just read it.
it's going to be what it is.
I would check the spoiler.
Or just check reviews.
Yeah.
Go on
Yeah,
Goodreads and look at reviews, and if it's an Allegiant thing, you will hear about it.
Oh, yes.
Unless I'm super, super anticipating a book, if I think something like that is going to happen, I want to know going in.
That's how I am with TV. If I think someone I love will die in TV, I want to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh, I always check for TV.
I think I get really mad if I get spoiled ahead of time for TV character death.
I need to brace
too.
myself emotionally.
Yeah.
I guess so, but I get really mad. I got spoiled for the 100, and I was really angry because I was like, why would you just tweet that out like that?
I
was
just
glad I
started
got
watching the
spoiled.
100, and I already know some major character deaths, which I feel great about.
Yeah. I feel
Not that
very
they die,
positive.
but I know who not to get attached to, and that's important to me.
But
I mean,
I
my
guess
relationship,
that's true.
not to
You're
shit.
supposed to get attached to them.
I watch
Yeah.
TV
Then it
in
will
front of
hurt.
people.
It's when
Feel
you-
the sadness.
it's when you start shipping them, one of them.
Oh yeah, that's bad. That's,
Bump
Yeah.
off.
my soul just gets crushed.
Yes.
I
I'm
used
trying
to
to
have a
avoid
friend.
soul crushing, that's all.
I
Yeah.
used to have a friend in high school. Like we would always read the same books, and like we would let each other borrow books. And he would always spoil the ending for me. Like
No.
there's a couple
Rude.
times I literally almost punched him. Why would you do this? Like, you hand me the book and then tell me what happened.
What? You just stop
That would
letting
be
the
so
book.
annoying.
Like, why am I reading this then? Why aren't you just telling me
You're the
everything?
worst type of person.
We have lots of questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for asking questions. We welcome any questions. I'm going to kind of jump ahead, so I'm not skipping your questions. We're going to come back to them. But Kiss My Sass asked if any of us have watched Stranger Things yet. And I have a lot of feelings about Stranger Things.
Oh, I haven't yet.
I just have feelings that it's over. I finished the last episode like last month and was then bereft and sad.
So
Yeah.
it's enjoyable even if you're not particularly nostalgic about the 80s, because that seems to be one of the big features I hear about. I'm like, I was 2 in the 80s. This is not a thing for me.
No, it was very good. I was not born in the 80s at all, and I super loved it. So it's just creepy and sci-fi-ish, and Winona Ryder, she just looks terrible all the time and somehow pulls it off. It's amazing.
How creepy are we talking?
Not too creepy.
All right.
No. So, just creepy enough.
Okay.
So, you should all watch it, is the moral of that story. I'm very sad that there's going to be a while before season 2.
Yeah, that's the downside about like awesome Netflix shows, is that their seasons, except for like I guess Orange is the New Black and more established ones, but the new ones, like I loved Sense8, which was last year, and we don't get a new season until next year. Which makes me very
Oh,
sad.
yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, and there's only like 8 episodes in Stranger Things, which was very disappointing to realize when I hit episode 8.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
I marathoned those, and also I've been on the edge of my seat every Wednesday when the Scream TV show gets updated. Like literal edge of my seat, because I loved the Scream TV, or I loved the Scream movies, and so a Scream TV show is like a dream come true for me. So I'm really hoping that continues. It's so well done. You just have there's no one that's safe. Like you have a favorite character? No, you don't. Like Nella or Martin, right? Like no one is safe. So good.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but everyone keeps telling me about multiple shows that I have to watch. So I have a list on my computer. It's like this long. I'll get to them all one day.
Netflix has some really good ones. So much that it's worth the $8 a month or whatever it is. I don't even have TV.
I think it's
Netflix.
9 now.
It's $9.99. It went up.
Oh,
See, I'm one of the 8 people in Canada that doesn't have Netflix, so I can't watch those.
Get Netflix. It's worth it.
I'm not sure there are that many people who don't have it. Are 7 of those people moose?
I have never seen a moose before, just saying,
Even
okay?
the point of living in Canada.
I've seen
What's the
before.
matter? Does that count?
The freedoms. What?
I have seen many mooses.
You have?
Moose.
What's the plural of moose? Like moose-eye? Meese?
Mooses. Mooses.
Mooses.
Many moose.
I've seen lots of deer,
Multiple
bear,
moose.
I've seen beavers, but I have never seen...
They
Never
are
seen a moose.
huge, man. No joke. Like, if you hit one with a car, your car is totaled.
Oh,
Not the
yeah,
moose.
I've heard that they're massive, and I didn't know that they were that big. I thought they were kind of the size of horses.
Intimidatingly so. Like, we were driving past one, and all the cars were slowing down, because you're like, you see it, and you're like, okay. And you're like, the size of my car. Don't run into this thing. It's crossing the road. You stop for moose. You do not keep going. Yeah. They're
Reminds me of like Gilmore Girls, where she gets hit by a deer while
Yeah.
driving.
What?
You should watch Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is amazing.
Apparently I should.
Yeah, add it
Yeah.
to the list.
all the one-liners in that show. I have a friend growing up that she just quoted them all the time, but she never told me they were from the Gilmore Girls, so I just thought she was really, really clever and like on the ball. And then I watched Gilmore Girls and I was like, this is all of her material to me. have a terrific like mother-daughter relationship in that show. I mean, a weird like best friend / mother-daughter thing that probably doesn't exist out there, but it's awesome to watch. Oh, the other one I'm obsessively watching is Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23 on Netflix.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it has the
like
girl
that.
who played Jessica Jones in it. So good. I love that
Kristen
actress.
Wiig?
Yes, I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
She's
I really like her too.
So she's even more sassy in this one than she is in Jessica Jones.
Is that
It's
possible?
hilarious. Yeah, she's the bee in Apartment 23.
Nice.
So she's like the stuff she does. I'm like, oh my god, you're a horrible person, but it's so funny.
You're a
such
horrible person. Let's be friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's hang out.
Okay. So we have a question from Xander. They ask, how do you guys balance realistic male and female characters and badass male and female characters? Kind of two questions there.
Like making them realistic and badass at the same time? That's the question, I'm guessing.
Yeah, either that or maybe like balancing realistic guys and girls.
Because, yeah, your badass characters should definitely still be realistic to an extent. Like, you know, superheroes are a little above and beyond, but they still need to have traits that make them relatable.
I think it's giving them vulnerability.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the time I read these like urban fantasies. I actually stopped reading a lot of the urban fantasy genre because I was so annoyed by like the strong female characters that literally had no flaws. Her flaw was being like too sassy, and I'm like, that's not a flaw. That's not a flaw. That is a defining character trait. That's not a flaw. So that kind of thing just got really old, and it also, the more I read in the genre, the more I was like, these are all the same. They're the kick-ass leather jacket wearing, you know, magic using urban fantasy female, and it just gets really old, right? So, but if they had like a really interesting set of character flaws, I think I would have, you know, been more interested. So.
Yeah, and when you're picking flaws, it needs to be things that would be very difficult to overcome because it's like a part of who you are, and it's normal. Like all of us have things that
not like,
great.
Oops, I'm a bit clumsy. I occasionally do things like Bella Swan style, and a lot of the time to make the story really good, it should be a massive character flaw that directly gets in the way of the goal that he or she is trying to achieve.
Yeah.
That makes things very interesting.
Yeah. Because, like, too much sass, it's like one person tells you you're being a dick, and then you just need to think more before you talk, and that's not that hard to do.
Yeah, it's not that hard to overcome if you actually want to overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. I was watching classes, actually, we were talking about this last week at Writers Group, that Brandon Sanderson teaches these classes, and I was watching them on YouTube. And one of the things he said is, like, it's important to be as realistic as you can, but it's also important to remember that you can only be so realistic and, you know, not sacrifice story. Because he was, I mean, his wasn't character, it was, he was suggesting, like, things for fight scenes, essentially, and he was saying that, like, if you see a real fight, and you describe that in a book, it would be boring and like over in a split second. Where he said like he almost Hollywoodizes, is that a word? His fights. So they're not realistic at all, but it's important for his story.
And he writes good fight scenes, you guys. They're amazing.
Yeah, so I thought that was an interesting thing for an author to say, like, hey, don't let realism, you know, box you into a story problem or like, yeah, bad writing, essentially.
We've got another question from Marlena. She asks, if you're writing a fantasy novel that's going to have a series of 2 or 3 books, when do you know or decide is the right time to end the first book so that it feels complete, but also like makes you want to move on to the next book?
You want to make sure your first book has a resolution, like there should be a complete story, but then you can still have kind of that looming bigger threat that you know it's not quite happily ever after yet, but your reader still feels satisfied, I guess.
I agree with that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Or you can just leave a giant cliffhanger.
Which is basically what I did in the
Yes.
one that I'm doing.
Oh, no.
I don't know if people are going to shoot me for it or not, so we'll see.
I think they'll want to shoot you for it in the best way possible.
Okay. We'll see what beta readers say. If they all want to strangle me and it's anonymous, then maybe I'll change it.
One of the things that you can do to help decide if you're going to be splitting it up into 3, where a good stopping point is for book 1, is to take a look at 3-act structure. If you're writing a trilogy, then those books need to kind of roughly follow 3-act structure. And so looking at like what your first plot point is going to be, like if you can find out what that is, then usually that's a good place to end it, so that you can still, like, something big has happened and there are some threads and your character obviously has this bigger enemy that they need to deal with, and they're going to spend book 2 learning how to deal with. But it still gives you kind of like a plot that you can feel satisfied with, I guess. We've also got a question from Die Facing Our Foes. Hey, random question. How do you guys view Goodreads star ratings? I found that there's 2 main camps. 3 stars is okay/mediocre, 4 stars is good, 5 stars is great, anything below that sucks. And 3 stars is pretty good, 4 stars is really good, 5 stars is amazing.
I do the second one.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I actually don't really view anything on Goodreads. I mean, like, I love going on there, but I don't really pay attention to the star rating unless it's like 2 or below. Because there have been books where I was like, oh my gosh, I hated this thing, and it gets like 5 stars. I'm like, all right, whatever's up with that.
People with their differing opinions.
God, they're the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels more and more like a 3-star rating is like, I didn't really like it that much, but 3-star should be
Like halfway decent.
yeah.
I'm totally in the first camp, I think. Like, I will not rate anything lower than 3 stars because, I don't know, it hurts my heart.
Yeah. Generally, if I hate a book, I'll stop reading it. So
I'll give it 3 stars.
I will bother
Okay.
And part of that is because I was reading about this today, actually, and agreeing with it. It seems like stars are so subjective. Like, I don't always hate a book because it was poorly written. Sometimes I just hate a book because it wasn't for me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's like the one I'm reading now. The funny thing is I don't want to give this author a 1-star review because I've read his other work and I really happen to really like him as an author and a person. And I know that the book he's doing now is like, it's a style. It's a hard-boiled detective, like, you know, the kind of creepy sexist gumshoe type of detective. And I'm like, I hate everything about this main character, but I don't necessarily want to go and give him like a 1-star thing because I'm like, it's a style. I know it's a style.
It's good for what it is. It's just not a thing you want to be reading.
Yeah, I feel like it offends me to my very core as a female reading through the point of view of this guy, but I'm like, I don't know, so I'm kind of torn. I might review it though, because there's like a lot of the reviews on it are from men, and they're all like, this was cool, and I'm like, you have no idea how much sexism went over your head, do you? You just didn't even. So I like want there to be more mentions of that. I'm like, this is really bothering me. I need to put something up on Goodreads about this, I think.
There is always that extra weight, though, if you want to get into the writing community and you're leaving crappy reviews on other authors' books.
That's true, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, right? Because I'm like, I've read other books, I've enjoyed other books by this author, and I'm like, I've listened to him speak, and I don't think he's sexist at all, right? Like, I think this is a style he's chosen to adopt, but I don't know. So I'm like torn on like, should I leave a review? I mean, it won't be a bad one. I would leave like a 3 or 4-star one, but just say like, look, this is something you should expect if you go into it. That's the only thing that I would ever like leave like a semi-negative review. Would be like, just, you know, if to warn other people if it doesn't say anything like about that in the other reviews, right?
Yeah.
It's just so you know going into it. Yeah.
I usually
but
do
yeah,
it, Megan.
no.
I won't leave more than 3 stars, but there's been a couple that I've, and so I've put 2 stars, and
Yeah.
they haunt me. But I'm like, no, I mean it. 2 stars for real.
I have like
Sometimes
a
I dream
general
about
rule on Goodreads too. Like I won't say anything on Goodreads I wouldn't say straight to the author's face.
Yeah.
Like if they ask
for
me,
sure.
obviously I'd never go up to Robert J. Sawyer and be like, your main character is really super sexist. But if he's like, what did you think of this book? I'd be like, well, I know it was a style choice, but I didn't like this character.
Yeah,
You
and that's
know?
fair. You shouldn't
So I
have to
will
love
set that
every
on
book.
Goodreads. Yeah, exactly.
And you would hope,
Yeah.
should you have the opportunity to meet an author, if it somehow comes up what your opinion of their book was,
Yeah.
you're not going to say, oh, I rated it 2 stars, but you can say, oh, well, this part was kind of for me, and then find something else you like.
But I loved your other books.
But I love this book.
Yeah.
Because I know as a writer myself, I'd love some other author to come up and discuss my books with me. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
even like you say like, oh, I would say like I would never say anything online that I wouldn't say to their face. I'm like, obviously I wouldn't go up and be like, hey, by the way, I didn't like this and this and this about your book.
Hey, nice to meet you.
But if
Here
they
are your
asked
thoughts.
if they asked you about it.
Yeah, should you ever become best friends and you're like having drinks somewhere and you start to discuss
Yeah.
things, happens all the time, right?
Yeah, just get them drunk first. And
And
then
then critique their writing. Few tequila shots and you're good.
I guess it's also like you don't know, are there agents watching, and like maybe you want to make a connection with that agent or publisher later, but odds are they're not going to remember. Like it's
Yeah. Well, and if
Yeah.
you remain professional too,
Exactly.
even if you give them a 2 to 3 star review and say these are the reasons I liked it, these are the reasons I don't, as long as you're not blasting the author,
Yeah.
you're not being rude, you're not being unprofessional, then I think it's fine, even if you really didn't like the book.
what was the original question?
stars.
Oh, how much weight do you give
Yeah.
Goodreads stars?
Another
Goodreads
question.
is like, yeah. I was just gonna say, as an author, as a reviewer, I go on Goodreads. As an author, I stay off of it. I don't look at it.
That's probably wise. We have an interesting question from Razorwire Reviews. What kind of fonts are best to use with books? I was wondering what you guys used / thought about that topic.
I don't even remember. It's been so long since I formatted anything.
I don't have specific font names, but I did take a typography class. And you want to make sure that no matter what, you're using a serif font, which means it has the little feet on the end. And you want to make sure that there's good spaces between the letters, like not too big and not too small, particularly not too small, because that just makes everyone angry.
Yeah. Keeping it simple is always good advice. Don't try to get too creative with your fonts. Use tried and true, which is probably what you're asking us, and we should be able to give you better answers. But no creepy themed fonts or anything. Just easy, readable.
70,000 words of papyrus.
Oh God. Comic Sans.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I have got a query letter before in Comic Sans. I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
Oh my
Why
God.
did you do this to yourself?
Always a poor stylistic choice.
Every time.
Yeah. Got
This
one.
random person on the internet says you should use Adobe Caslon Pro or Bembo. Or
Oh, I actually know the
Baskerville.
Adobe one. And I know Baskerville. That one's not my favorite. The Adobe one is really nice, though.
Minion Pro.
It's
Garamond
just a bunch of
Premiere
pictures
Pro?
of the Minions.
These words mean nothing to me.
I know like half of them. And I
All
can
I
only
know-
picture the font for 2 of them.
If you say minion, I just think of little yellow creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
We've got one more question from Courtney M. Any tips on balancing school, sports, adulting, and writing? I'm starting freshman year of college in a week, and I'm so worried that I won't be able to find the time to write. Did I mention I'm really good at procrastinating?
God.
Balancing college and writing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Gotta love it.
Well, you're either gonna have to get up really early or stay up really late. That's the hard truth of that. Or give up spending time with other humans.
Always an option.
Yeah.
I discovered something that is forcing me to work because my issue, I think discovering what your weaknesses are is good and tweaking your behavior, because I know after an 8-hour shift and then the hour bus ride home, I'm exhausted and I just want to lie on the couch like a slug and watch Netflix. And at that point, I'm like, I don't care, I'll do it tomorrow. And then writing never gets done. So what I make myself do is stay an hour after work at the coffee shop next door and get some writing done. So, like, I think it's just, and it forces me, I'm not getting on the bus until I get an hour of writing done. So it kind of forces me to get my work done. So it's just making it, or like Desiree said, get up an hour early, go to the coffee shop or the breakfast joint beside your college or your work and get an hour in. Right? Like, it's just about adjusting your schedule.
And self-awareness goes a long way. If you know you're not going to do it later in the day, being aware of what your good times are goes a long way. Plus, knowing that you're a procrastinator and that there is a difference between I don't have time and there's other stuff I'd rather be doing. So be aware of whether or not you legitimately don't have time, because there's not much you can do about that, and stressing isn't going to get you anywhere, versus I could use a nap. So.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Like you find yourself watching TV.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I totally didn't have time today.
I've done that a couple times.
We've all been there.
Guilty as charged.
Man, I really don't have time to write today. Loads another episode on Netflix.
So busy. And if you are able, try like penciling it in like it's a class. Like Mondays from 10:30 to 11:30, I'm going to be at the coffee shop writing. And I've been doing the same thing as Erin, actually. Once a week I go to the coffee shop and I write more in that one couple-hour period that I'm there than I do any time the rest of the week. And so you don't have to be like writing every single day to be a serious writer. If you only have the time with school and sports and everything else to do it once a week, just do it once a week. Be serious about it and do it.
Actually, the penciling it in thing works really well. Like, I have the Google Calendar on my phone, and I like obey the Google Calendar because it schedules me like when I need to do my WordNerds video and when I have like a conference call or whatever. So for the first time the other day, I actually put in like my schedule from 7 to 8. I'm at the coffee shop, and it actually prompts you with like an email a half hour before if you have certain settings on and stuff. So at work, it's like, you're going to the coffee shop afterwards. And I was like, oh, yeah, because, otherwise I forget. So I don't know. Actually treating it like an appointment is important personally for me. So, find what works for you.
Also, in like the fall or like the spring, writing outside. I know most colleges have like a courtyard. I don't know what school you're going to, but a lot of colleges have like a courtyard. And, writing out there is really nice sometimes. Get this change of scenery.
Basically be Kat from Fangirl then.
Yes, that's why I suggested it. That's what I do before my fiction writing class.
So your life will basically be Fangirl. You'll fall in love. You'll find a Levi. All you have to do is write outside.
Yes.
Step one.
Step one. We've got more questions. Eloise asked, what are your thoughts on working on multiple projects for NaNoWriMo?
If you can do it, I can.
Yeah, it's another know yourself thing. I love it personally because it keeps me moving when I'm stalling out on one story or I need that extra time to mull it over. I can move to something else. Because if you have that writing time, you don't want to just you're not going to make any progress, I can move on to something else, but it very much comes down to if you can juggle multiple things going on at the same time. But I say you can fix it in edits, so.
I can barely finish one Nano story, so probably not for me, but if you can do it, you clearly have a superpower, like super writing abilities. Fight crime at night. That's what you should really do.
Write books during the day, fight crime at night.
Right.
You take your
Sounds like a
glasses
plan.
off, and suddenly you are a superhero.
That's all it takes.
So, more questions? Yeah.
We could take a second to highlight that we have a giveaway going on right now, but Megan will have
Yes.
to tell you where to find that because I don't know.
We have a giveaway. I will put a link to it in the comments. You can also find it on our Twitter. It's been going on for a week of the hiatus, and it is open until Friday or Saturday. I will double check that and include it in the comments.
We can call it Friday just to be safe.
Friday. But it's got lots of cool stuff. It's got arcs and critiques and writerly things. So you should enter it.
All the stuff.
Just a big thank you for you guys for getting us this far all the way to season 4.
Yeah.
Also really
season
close to
4.
4,000 subscribers, so we're having a
Yeah,
very
so exciting.
You should tell your friends to sub to us, because 4,000 would be pretty cool.
Yes, it would.
And my mom can only subscribe to us so many times. She only has so many emails.
I know, I thought that when I first started my own YouTube channel and I had more than 4 subscribers, I was like, Mom, are you just making emails?
It's like all 3,000 subscribers are
Well, I also see Rachel's mom as the top comment on our latest dancing video.
I saw that too. I saw that.
That's awesome.
We've all seen it because
Yeah.
we keep watching it.
She watches all of the videos.
Yay!
That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Rachel's mom! Adorable.
Yes. You might notice a few changes for season 4. We've got an updated intro coming at you. We do have, officially, our lineup has changed. Getting all anxious, oh no, I sweat. No, but regrettably, with Erica and Kaylin, they've both had some pretty intense life things coming up. Big job changes. Kaylin gave birth to a human. And from what I hear, human babies take up lots of time. So we are saying a more long-term goodbye to them. And not to say that we will never see their faces on this channel again, but they are going to be taking extended leaves for season 4. Is there anything I'm missing on that?
I don't think
You're just
so.
gonna have to put up with us here.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our newest word nerds are coming along pretty well so far. So
Yay.
Yeah, we're not going to kick you out now. We've decided we like you. We'll keep
Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew.
You're
Thank
stuck with
God.
us.
I was worried there for a moment.
There's no leaving now.
I know there was
Have
a
it.
probation period. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I made an animal sacrifice yesterday just to make
Okay.
sure that this outcome was the one that
As you
happened.
should. As you should.
Yeah. But we're super excited for season 4. We're going to have lots of write-ins and live chats once per week. And all the things.
we're doing write-ins once per week.
No, live chats once
I
per
am
week.
not committed.
Sorry.
All screwed up.
I was like, what I signed up for?
I was gonna say, I was like, man,
There was a comma there that I couldn't see.
You're going to get lots of writing done.
Yeah. I'm actually just going to be here once a week. Come on. No, that's a lie. I'm not going to do that. No, but live chats once per week, comma, write-ins, comma. We we have exciting writing things going on in our lives that we can't wait to share with you guys when the time comes. And
Lots of awesome guest vloggers as well.
so many. We're going to have a guest vlogger a week, ideally. So, lots of people. Season 4! Yeah! 4.
Can't believe I've been here for 4 seasons.
All 4 of them.
All 4. For real, so 4 seasons. That's a lot of time.
I mean, congratulations to you guys.
Oh,
There's a
Yeah,
dog.
there's a puppy.
There's a dog. I see a dog.
Her name is Snowy. She is staying here until Wednesday.
Aww.
Let's enlarge that doggy face.
There, you're famous. Good job.
Oh. So if you have any questions about season 4, feel free to ask them down in the comments. But for now, we will probably move on to more questions. Yeah.
Any questions?
All the questions.
Questions.
We've got a question from Courtney M. How detailed are your first drafts? An elaboration on that. I recently heard a tip that you can write out the dialogue in the first draft, kind of like a script, and add more description in the second pass. Do you think this is more or less productive? Like, does it make more work for yourself in the long run?
Well, it does. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though. It's kind of a cool
It's an
idea.
interesting idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just when you're in the moment writing the scene, it can come across very differently if you leave it without any kind of dialogue, like without knowing how it's being said. Because you can have a scene that 2 people are just like, oh, hi, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? And have it in your head be like, oh, this is actually, they've been lying to each other and they're really serious.
Tension everywhere.
Yeah, so much tension, and then but then if you're rereading it and you're like, hi, how are you? You're like, this is like, why'd I write this in? This is pointless. So I think you should have like some dialogue markers.
I'd say if you, even beyond that, if there's a descriptive part that you know, don't make a point of leaving it out. Like, don't pause if you are not sure where you're going in terms of description or dialogue tags, but if you know it, don't save it for later because you're not going to remember. So do what you can in the first draft and then make a point of adding it in the second, but I wouldn't all in all skip it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, also there's overwriters and underwriters, and I'm definitely an overwriter, so like my first drafts are always ridiculously detailed because I'm just describing every leaf on that tree and then I have to dial it back, so it does depend on what kind of a writer you are.
I'm an underwriter. Like,
Me too.
I write like two words of description, like they're in the middle of the town, and then when I go back, I describe everything. But I write mostly dialogue in my first pass through, just because that's like the easiest for me, and like I don't know, dialogue is just so interesting to me. I like it more than description, so I just write a lot of dialogue first.
Dialogue is so hard for me.
Same.
I just write like really generic stuff, and I'm not sure how it works because I am an underwriter, but it's not dialogue, so I'm not sure what I'm writing. I have to get in there and find out what the plot is in the second draft. But if you're trying it out and it's working for you, then
I don't really have a thing about dialogue. Like, it's fine, but like I'm definitely an underwriter lately. Like, my drafting process is always changing, but the most recent one, the sci-fi one I did, is just like crazy underwritten. There's just like huge chunks I've left out, and there's just notes in highlightedness like all through the manuscript. And I'm now at this point I'm kind of mad at myself because I'm like, wow, I made myself a huge amount of work to go back and revise that now. So, but I don't know. It was flowing, right? So I didn't want to stop.
yeah.
So
Right.
And no matter what, you're gonna have to do the work. Whether you write the descriptions in the first draft or the second, you're gonna have to write them at some point. So it's just a matter of finding, like, if it goes faster for you if you do it in the first draft, then do it that way. If it feels better to do it in the second draft, then do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Janessa asked, is there going to be a writing contemporary live chat? I've been getting a ton of contemporary ideas and need word nerd wisdom on how to do it right. So if you guys have any tips, that would be great. We probably will be doing one of those. I know we talked about it a while back, but Erin and I were drafting a contemporary, so we weren't sure what we were doing yet.
Yeah, it'll be useless in that chat. Like my contemporary draft was like, what do real humans do? I don't know. There's no plot. They're just talking to each other.
Yeah. But we will probably do a chat on that at some point for sure. That's definitely an underrepresented part of our channel.
Mm-hmm. I'm so bad at writing contemporary.
Me too.
Yeah, like what are real people
so
problems?
Bad at it. Like I don't even read contemporary unless it's fangirl. Like
unless it's
only
fangirl.
contemporary.
Yeah.
Well,
I know Emma's been working on one too.
She'll have to join our chat then when we have one. But unless somebody's murdered, I really don't like something that happens. I was doing one that was just about a writers group, and I was like, I want to throw a murder in, but that's too dramatic. But I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, it took me a while to get the hang of it. And maybe it's because it's been a while since I finished the draft, so it's like, oh, that was totally fine. Everything was fine. But once I got the hang of it, I enjoyed it a little more. It's just the stakes aren't quite what they are in like sci-fi fantasy.
Like whenever I try to write a contemporary, it's like okay, but what if they were dragons? It ruins everything.
Yeah. You mean it makes everything better?
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
When all else fails, add dragons.
Yes. I'm just like, where do I put it? That's always my biggest thing in contemporary. Is where do I set this? Because your own hometown is boring or whatever, so you're like, okay, well, I need to set it somewhere else that's cool, but you're like, but I've never been there. So in fantasy, I'm just like, oh yeah, totally fine. We'll just like create a couple castles and a moat, and it's done. I'm like, where do I put this? I don't know.
Yeah, and then you have to be accurate.
Yeah.
Accuracy.
We've got a question from Jody, asking, how do you know if your story needs like a sequel or a companion novel? Specifically referencing Me Before You, how she read it and felt like it had the endings really well wrapped up, but there is a sequel, and Jody felt like it maybe didn't necessarily need to have been written because the stories were so well wrapped up.
In the case of Me Before You, I'm sure it did not need a sequel, but the publisher has dollar signs in their eyeballs, and that was the reason the sequel got written. That's usually how it is.
Or you could use it as everything that didn't go wrong in the first one, you can make go wrong in the second one.
That's true. And there's a lot of fans that, you know, if the first book's popular, they're like, more, I want more. And it's meeting a demand. But, I don't know, if you as the author are like, I wrapped it up, I don't need, you know, there's no loose ends, then there's really no need for a sequel, unless you want to write one.
Yeah.
You could write one and then add dragons to the sequel.
Yes, very good. Just you need dragons.
Yeah. Or you could write a companion with a character that you really liked. Like maybe it's the best friend, or maybe it's like the brother that you're just like, oh, I really like you as a character, but I mean, I'm focusing on the main character, so you can just take them and then have them have their own adventures.
I feel like there was that type of thing with Simon and versus the Homo sapiens agenda, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone heard about that. Yeah,
It's
so the sister or something. Yeah, she's getting her own book.
Yeah, it's the upside of Unrequited, I think it's called. It's either the upside or the downside. It's one of the sides of Unrequited.
Something about requited, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because I know pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh, really? All right, because what is it? My Life Next Door. by Huntley Fitzpatrick. It was a great book, and it's another contemporary. It's adorable. But she did the companion novel, The Boy Most Likely To, and that's from just another character that actually I found interesting because I really like that character, and he's only in there a little bit, so it was kind of fun to see him and see the other characters come back in again too.
Yeah. You should read The Unexpected Everything
I should.
by Morgan Matson because relating to this question, the main conflict for the male main character is writing sequels when you don't want to.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
there's pressure.
Okay. This has definitely gotten higher up on my to-be-read list.
Yeah,
I know. I want to read it now.
Well, because like I've seen it a bunch of times, and it's gotten good reviews, and some of my friends at the bookstore are like, "Oh, it's really good. You should read it." I'm like, "Okay," but now that I know it's about a writer, I'm like, "All right."
Okay, can you say the title again?
The Unexpected Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So the love interest is the writer. The girl is awesome. There's dogs. There's a beautiful romance.
Just one of the dogs, like a selling
dogs
point for you.
There's
It is.
dogs.
Yeah.
I wanted
there
to
is
like cuddle my dog the whole time I was reading it.
If there's a book about a writer or about a book person or about a library, I will buy it.
Yeah. Same here.
I don't even care what it's about. I'm like, oh, you have the main character's a writer? I'm going to buy the book.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm all in.
I am all in. Now I'm adding it to Goodreads.
Yes.
I wrote it down on my hand. That's my notepad.
Dogs. So many dogs.
We've got a question from Eloise asking, any tips/advice for someone who wants to create a WordNerds typed channel in the future?
Just do it.
Get some friends. Do a brainstorming day. Start blogging.
Yeah, it's scary, but the timing is never going to feel right if you're like waiting for it to not feel scary. So just like go for it. And you can find writing people just about in a lot, not just about anywhere. But on like Twitter or Absolute Right, like most of the WordNerds, we didn't know each other when we started this channel. So if you don't have like a ton of writing friends right now, this is a great way to make them. Invite them to do a channel with you. Beyond that, what did we have when we got started?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. Can-do attitude.
Yeah. The knowledge that you're going to be uncomfortable with how you look on camera to start, but it gets better.
Yeah.
Or you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Then you get better. Like,
Yeah.
all of us cringe looking at our old videos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but like Rachel and Desiree, all of your videos on this channel have been great. We don't mean your own. Your old videos are like 3 months old. They're fantastic.
You guys had both vlogged before, so it's not like it was like your first vlogs ever.
Yeah, but I still look back at my first videos on my own channel, and I'm just like, oh dear God.
My very first YouTube video is privated, so no one can ever see it ever. It's awful. It's just that. I was like 12.
I started my channel in the winter when it got dark at like 4 o'clock, so all my videos are super poorly lit and like not in focus.
Yeah. Mine is also private, but it was an audition video for a different YA writers channel.
Yeah, my audition video for you guys is private.
Yeah. I love the video, but I don't want people to be able to find it.
Nope.
I feel like that was probably more discouraging than encouraging.
No, it's so fun though.
It
So
is.
just get a camera and go for it.
Yeah,
Basically,
especially if you
every
have a
computer comes with editing software of some kind. So
That's true. The key to a good channel is make friends that live in Canada. That's how you make a good
Yeah.
WordNerds channel.
That's
Yes,
the
it is.
Yeah, and if you are struggling to find like a group of people to do it with, don't be afraid to like just start posting videos. Like, just go for it. You're awesome, and YouTube always needs more writers. Like always.
Always.
Yeah. The RightTube community is not big enough. That's true. We've got a question from Drew. How do you keep all notes related to one novel in one notebook? I have so many notebooks to the point where I hoard notebooks, and most of them are empty.
I have this problem.
Get a nice notebook for a specific project. And just, I don't know, burn all the other ones.
You're just encouraging a junkie, Jesse. That is not good.
Yeah, I go the other way. Like, if you really want to use notebooks, just get a boring one that doesn't matter if you mess it up. It's just, it's not there to look pretty. It's there to, like, keep your ideas organized and try not to overthink the notebook, which is what I always do. I'm like, there's going to be some great thing that I'm going to want to put in this beautiful notebook, and when I'm J.K. Rowling, everyone's going to want to read this beautiful notebook, even though my handwriting is awful. No one's ever going to want to do that. But so you just like get yourself something that you're not afraid to rip pages out of, and I like using binders so you can like 3-hole punch and move stuff around.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with good old-fashioned handwriting, is that you can't really go back and just move this section over here.
Yeah. Yeah. I have recently started getting the like shrink wrapped notebooks.
All those nice
So, like,
skins.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I got it for Christmas or something. My birthday. And so I can't open it until I filled up my last notebook. And so there's like, it's in plastic, so I can't pull it out easily and be like, oh, let me just write a couple things in here.
That's a good idea.
Now, I'm actually really close to finishing a notebook for the first time ever, and it's just like my daily free writing, nothing important notebook, but I'm like I'm getting through it because I've never ever finished a notebook, and I'm going to feel really proud of myself when it happens.
That's cool.
One day.
I mean, I still think you should burn a notebook, just because I feel like that'd be kind of cool, but that's just my opinion.
And we've got one more question.
Okay.
And then it'll probably be close to wrapping up time. But Kiss My Sass asked, any tips on organizing your world from all the food to culture to even characters so that it is easy to use when you're drafting?
Get Scrivener. Use
Yes!
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scrivener
That's
fully
actually what I was going to say.
I used to hate it. Like, I could not stand it. I was like, it's so confusing. Why does everyone need this many folders and tabs? And then I started using it, and I was like, this is the best thing that any human has ever created ever.
Yeah.
I have it. I have Scrivener, and I don't know how to use it, and I'm just I tried like for one day to like sit down for like 2 hours tried to figure out how to use it, and it's so confusing, and I want to use it so badly. So if you guys have any tips on how to make it less confusing, please let me know.
Tutorials.
Yeah, YouTube video. That's
I hear
how
that the Mac one is much more elaborate than the PC one. So you
Oh.
probably have a little bit of that playing in there as well. Yeah, my favorite thing about it is, so usually what I do with my project is there's a little research tab that they already put in there for you when you open a fiction project. And so I'll add pages into that, like characters, map of the world, cities, notable this, food, blah, blah, blah. So each one has like a bunch of different things. And then when you're writing, you can pull it up so that it has 2 documents open on one screen. And so I'll pull up like the map or the list of important like government officials, and I can like keep writing and just like glance over whenever I need it. And it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trying to think of some sort of note we can end on for this evening.
Welcome to
We
season
made it to
4.
season 4.
That's about right.
Yeah. We're going to go on so many adventures.
All the adventures.
Yes.
Adventures out there.
Yes. Enter the
making me all
giveaway.
excited. Adventures out there. Is that like a log line from something? Is it?
I think so. I don't know from what.
Yeah.
Now I have to look it up.
It's from Up.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yes. It's one of the best Pixar movies ever.
Agreed.
All right, I guess on that note, we will wrap this up. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. This was a lot of fun, and this next season is going to be such a good time. We're all really looking forward to it. We will be back tomorrow with our regular videos, just going through the week, and then next week's live chat is our writing processes. I'm trying to pluralize that. So just timelines on how we write books and how you guys write books, and there'll be lots of opportunities for writing-related questions. So we will see you all then. Have a good week, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.